morning and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Review. So today we get to talk about Book 4 of The Wheel of Time, The Shadow Rising. So stay tuned. Okay, The Shadow Rising. This is crazy stuff, guys. Crazy stuff. Some all kinds of insane evil is just bubbling up from everywhere in this book. So let's start at the beginning. Let's start where we're at. So far, Rand has declared himself the Dragon Reborn. He has taken hold of the sword of Kulindar. He is the Dragon Reborn. He has become Lord of Tyr. He is causing division and strife in the world. His armies are gathering and declaring for him as the Dragon Reborn. And he is wreaking havoc in the political, economic, and social systems of Tyr. And he is truly becoming a Lord of Tyr. This man is going crazy too. He has these powers that he can't control. He is radiating these energies and this power everywhere. He's having an effect on everything, and he is desperately trying to learn how to control it so that he doesn't go insane while he is trying to be the Dragon Reborn. He's accepted his fate in that sense, but he cannot control his powers. And the end result is he is having these bubbles of evil just kind of ripple out from him as the Dark One is breaking free of his prison in Shayugol. We've got these playing cards coming to life, and just these images from the cards are jumping out at you, trying to kill you and destroy you. We've got Rand, who he's found himself alone in his room after having to battle and fight for his life because his own reflection has jumped out at him, and he's basically fighting with himself about what he has to. He has had to battle himself and fight hardcore. There's blood and cuts and just a mess of his room after this whole bubble of evil has just come out and attacked him hardcore. And these ripple effects start happening, and Rand needs to act. So as things really start to pick up in this story and all this crazy stuff starts happening, of course Rand needs to make a decision on what he's going to do next. So what he does, Rand and company, so Egwene and Rand and Moraine and company, they pack and Matt, they all pack up and they're headed off to the Aiel Waste. So the Aiel Waste, this desert wasteland where life is tough, life is hard, and there's these different clans or tribes of Aiel, and half of them are at war with the other half constantly, and Rand has been prophesied to be the one that is going to go ahead and unite them into a single group of people so that they can be united in this coming war, the final battle that is supposed to be against the Dark One, or the evil that we have coming to this world. And part of their task here in the Aiel Waste is making their way to the city of Rudion. This is where the clan chiefs go. This is where they go to become clan chiefs, and they basically have these visions in the city of Rudion where they learn about their people and stuff that I guess they need to know to become leaders. So Rand, of course, he has an Aiel heritage, but he was raised outside of the Aiel Waste. So while he is of Aiel lineage, he is not really been in Aiel any time throughout his life. So he's prophesied as he who comes with the dawn, which is like the Aiel savior, and the one that is supposed to save them all. So he and Man end up going into Rudion and getting some crazy visions going on there about the history of the Aiel and some other crazy stuff that's happening. And along with Egwene has also gone into Rudion as well. And then we have Egwene, who is learning to be this dreamwalker, basically, and being taught by the Aiel Wise Ones, which are in a way the equivalent of the Aes Sedai for the Aiel. So they have these powers and abilities as well, like the Aes Sedai, but definitely they have a very different approach on how they train people to do that. So this this whole cultural dynamic starts to get built up quite a bit more. We're introduced to a character by the name of, at the end of, who basically said is a spy over Rand here, and he is starting to process of basically breaking the Aiel and uniting them at the same time. So it's got a tremendous task involved for him on what he needs to do to get the people united. And then while all of that is happening, we also have a situation where Perrin and Fael, now Perrin, Fael, Loyal, Perrin has learned what's going on in his home of the Two Rivers. The Two Rivers, and of course Edmund's Field, has been overrun by these Trollocs and the Trolloc army, and they are stuck in this situation where they have to defend and protect themselves, because they need to battle for their lives. And not only are the Trollocs invading Two Rivers here, but also we have the White Cloaks, who, while they're killing the Trollocs, they're actually there in the Two Rivers looking for Perrin, because the White Cloaks want him as this black, this dark friend who is responsible for the death of some White Cloaks. So they're after him. They want their vengeance. They want to execute him and carry out their sentence against him. But all the while, some crazy stuff is happening in the. So of course, as Perrin has returned to the Two Rivers, he's also raised up to this status of being Lord of the Two Rivers. This is not something that he wants. He doesn't want to be a lord. He's getting tired of people calling him a lord. So the people, of course, as a Taveran, people are gathering around him and flocking to him, and he's changing the course of their lives and everything that's going on with that. He doesn't want to be Lord of the Two Rivers. He has no interest in that. He doesn't want to be a lord, but he's kind of pulled into this situation in which he is Lord of the Two Rivers, and people are following him as a result. So he's got, to rally the forces of Two Rivers, basically turn them into a fighting force to fight the Trollocs, while simultaneously trying to work with or avoid the people who want him dead. So that is the White Cloaks. So he's being, pushed and pulled and prodded on so many sides with this, and it's crazy, right? I mean, he's got a lot on his plate trying to deal with, being thrown into a position of being Lord of the Two Rivers when he doesn't want to be Lord of the Two Rivers. He doesn't want to be a lord at all, and fending off the Trollocs and fending off the White Cloaks, and it just is getting crazy and insane. But that's not all. In the Wolf Dream as well, with Perrin, as he's learning about this other character we're introduced to, Slayer. Try not to get into too many spoilers, but essentially Slayer is killing off the wolves. And of course this has become a big concern for our friend Perrin, because he is a wolf brother as well. So all that's kind of coming down within this book, and where it's going, and how the story's playing out in the end. And overall, this is just one that I really, really liked within this series. And overall, I'm loving the series as a whole, because The Wheel of Time is just vast in its scope, and it's just an amazing book, and just something that I would highly recommend, of course. So we've got Perrin and the Two Rivers, we got the Bubble of Evil, and just all kinds of stuff that's just going crazy with this book. So, while Rand is dealing with Rudion and the Aiel, Perrin's deal with the events going on down in the Two Rivers, fighting off Trollocs and White Cloaks. We have our other main characters within this series dealing with the Black Aja and hunting them down in the city of Tanchico. So that's Nynaeve and Elaine. Now they are regularly meeting up with Egwene in Teleran Riyadh, the World of Dreams. As Egwene learns more about this dream-walking skill that she has from the Aiel Wise Ones, Elaine and Nynaeve are busy trying to stop the Black Aja from doing what they're going to do, and they've discovered a secret that will harm Rand, that will hurt him, and can potentially give the Black Aja the ability to control him. So I won't say much more, but they're in Tanchico trying to figure this out, hunting all this down, and getting it figured out. Essentially, that means they don't want Rand to be hurt, so they have to do what they need to do. And So that's what's going on, just briefly, with Nynaeve and Elaine, and of course we get a little bit of hints as well as what's going on with Elaine's mother, the Queen of Andor, as well. But essentially, right now they are hunting the Black Adder, trying to stop the Black Adder and Ten Chico from doing what they're going to do. Now, one of the things that I'm also really starting to really like about this book series, or not starting to, I guess, I mean, this is my third time through, so I love this book series, but one of the concepts contained within this story is this idea of the cyclical nature of time and how history tends to repeat itself. So going back a little bit to Rudian, where we kind of get a glimpse into the history of this world, really some of the wording and language and descriptions used really seem to strongly suggest the idea that this world once had advanced technology. So it's talking about communications disruptions, things like shock lances, which, you know, you can always think of like tasers, things like these flying machines that hold a couple of people and soldiers within them, and you know, armored tanks referred to as Jokars, things like that, which I kind of envision as being like these militaristic armored tanks. So this idea of the cyclical nature of time and the wheel of time, I mean, the very image of the wheel of time seems to suggest a turning of the wheel of time, and these references are in there consistently throughout the series. So history repeats itself, history goes on, and eventually the wheel of time turns around where things start again. So every beginning is an end and every end is a beginning. And so this is the book, The Shadow Rising, where we start to see more of a glimpse of that happening within this storyline. And you know, this for me, I think, is probably up there with one of my favorite Wheel of Time books. And you know, definitely I am really enjoying it. I'm kind of getting more towards the middle of the series, which is commonly known as the slump. A lot of people referred it to that. But you know, this book for me, The Shadow Rising, is definitely an integral part of the series, and really kind of, I felt that this book overall starts to it's kind of a setup book in a lot of ways, in which it starts to set the stage for what is to come for the rest of the story, and kind of putting it together, setting the stage for that as it works towards the final epic conclusion. So you know, we had a lot happen in the first few books. Now we're kind of moving on to Act 2, I guess you could think of it, where we're setting the stage for what is to come. And overall, I'm just really loving the Wheel of Time reread, and I'm really looking forward to the Amazon Prime Video series that is coming out for the Wheel of Time, which is why I'm rereading, because I'm just so excited about that, and I'm absolutely loving it. I really enjoyed this book, Shadow Rising, and definitely, you know, this, if you're a fantasy fan, Wheel of Time, for me at least, is a must read. Not that you're not a fantasy fan if you don't read it, but definitely I would emphasize that this is a must read. It's a long series, it's an epic series, the books are big, but so worth it in the end, and I absolutely am loving it. You know, I love this concept of time just being a wheel, that everything revolves around the wheel of time, and it is constantly repeating itself, and just so much going on within this. It's epic, it's deep, it's just awesome. The characters are amazing, and just loving it. I feel like these characters that we're reading about, I feel like they're my friends, and I want them to succeed. And just overall, just wonderful storytelling by Robert Jordan here with the Wheel of Time, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying talking about it here as well. So those are just my thoughts, my feelings, you know, me talking about what is going on in The Shadow Rising. And you know, like, comment, subscribe, like, tell me about it, tell me your thoughts. Did you like it, not like this one? You know, if you read the Wheel of Time, definitely I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. So those are my thoughts, particularly on The Shadow Rising. And definitely I'm looking forward to my next Wheel of Time video review for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Drew's Book Reviews. Until then, keep on reading. Bye!